Have you ever wondered how you can present your presentation during your preview, and eventually people will go to the back of the room and buy? So in this video, I'm going to talk about the 3 key elements in your presentation construction that helps you to create that wave for people to believe in you, believe in your offer, and go to the back. And of course, before I go on to talk about that, I need you to do me a favor. Will you be willing to do it? That is, there's a subscribe button below, because if you haven't subscribed to my channel, all I want you to do is to help me to have these videos reach out to more people. So please help me to click the subscribe button. And also, you can see the bell below as well. Hit the bell and get notified. And you will be able to be notified whenever I'm uploading any videos on my channel. So thank you for that. Okay, so this is a very interesting question that I've got quite a lot of people asking me. How do I actually create a presentation that can help them eventually? Because as you know, if you're speakers, trainers, and facilitators, your job is to make people embrace what you say and therefore decide to buy a product, your service, or even go for your continuing education. I kind of like what Alex Mendoza, my teacher, has taught. Is like, would you like to go for my continuing education? It sounds a bit more elegant rather than like you come to buy my course or what. Okay, so this is what he said, and I have a very interesting experience that I would like to share back in November 2018 in Ho Chi Minh City. Okay, so I can tell you why these 3 steps or these 3 principles are very important, and you've got to do it. So number 1, you've got to have people know you. So in terms of your marketing message, before you even get people to the room, you've got to actually do something to help people know who you are. So many times you go to an event, have you actually wondered who is actually the speaker, who is actually the person on stage speaking to you? Have they actually given you some information, or perhaps what I would say is the profile? At least you have some idea who they are. So typically, to talk about knowing the speaker as a trainer, that's easy, because all you need to do is just to promote yourself. When I say promote, not brag, but share with people who you are, and that is it. And of course, if you haven't watched my 6 flip chart close, I want you to go back, because there's actually a part that I said storytelling is actually a form of close. You may want to check this out if you haven't seen my 6 flip chart close before. This is very important. So the first key element is actually for your audiences to know you, and this is always by way of storytelling. And to me, the other thing that you need to know is that they must like you. So the second step is they must like you. So knowing you is one thing, they must like you. Honestly, how many of you realize that you only work with people you like? Like if you have someone you don't like the person, would you say no choice of to work with the person? Like you would likely not say that, because you only work with people you like. So okay, so the first 2 parts, which is the knowing the person, like the person, that's pretty okay. So I'll give you an example here. How many of you actually would be prepared to share your story in your pitch? In other words, when I say share your story, 2 key points that I always talk about is number 1, you do not want to just show off your technical knowledge, because I believe most of you who are running your own programs are expert in your subject matter. So you can obviously show off all your technical knowledge, but people cannot connect with you. So I love to actually use this languaging, typically like I did in Ho Chi Minh. I said, like, how many of you actually have seen other speakers, trainers? The moment they open their mouth, they just talk about what they know and their technical information. And after a while, you'll find it very bored and you do not want to listen at all. And you want to actually leave the room. How many of you have experienced this before? Then I also said one thing. I like to actually talk about myself. Now hang on for a minute. In case you wonder I talk about myself, all I want to show you is that I'm just a normal person. When I say a normal person, you see that I first of all handle the objection whereby they think that I'm talking about myself and forget to connect with them. This is not true, because I like to showcase how what I do can relate to my students. This is obvious, right? Because you also want to talk about your students' success. But most importantly, this is something that I learned from Joe Bauer, my mentor. That is, you want to bring out your family members. Now, does that actually work for me? The answer is yes. Would that work for you? That one I really don't know. Because first of all, I don't know who you are. Okay, so I cannot actually force you to accept this idea. All I say is that I'm a family man, 24 years of marriage, 3 kids, they are now teenagers, and 1 is already adult. So I like to show them, I like to show my audiences as a father, as a husband, how I use what I know to be shared in this session, inspire them and motivate them to take action. And I even talk about my difficulties, my challenge of using some of the concepts which I'm about to share with you guys, but to show you how I can actually overcome these challenges. So I like to feature my family as part of what I'll call the presentation. And this is not an easy task because number one, your little voice is, I do not know whether I want to go to that personal space, because most people, like Gary Vaynerchuk said, that he doesn't expose his family to the world. Now I need to make a distinction here. I do not expose my family online to the world, but in the training, I like to talk about this. I can actually talk about my family stories for like for the whole day. I've done this many times in Singapore, and people just love that. So somehow, how I'm sharing with you is that it works for me. Okay, so when you share your story, your personal story, your family story, and most importantly, how what you're applying works for you and your family, then people will have a sense of connection. Okay, this guy is a bit different from other people. Like, I'm not sure whether they have seen this before. They are actually trainer speakers. They are so polished, and all they do is just talk about their offer, the technical information. They don't really show the family. They will not show the personal side, and most importantly, what I would call the vulnerability. Like, if you have seen this kind of speakers before, have you ever wondered why you cannot connect with them easily? And I can say one thing, because at the end of the day, whether you are training companies or you're training individuals, you are still talking to human beings. Like what Ask said, it's not B2B, it's not B2C, it's not B2G, which stands for government, it's not B2P, which stands for patient, but it's always H2H, human to human. So at the end, if you are able to connect with your audiences through your vulnerabilities, through your personal stories, that's how you become unique. Because most biggest trainers don't do that. Maybe they have not been exposed to this idea, or even they have been exposed to that idea, they just don't know how to do it. So that is another subject matter called storytelling. So you can actually check some of my videos before where I talk about the storytelling technique. All right. So now coming back here, the last part about this 3-part process, to know you, to like you, that's easy. However, the last piece is actually the word trust, T-R-U-S-T. It's a very simple 5-letter word, trust. But the question is that how would they be able to trust you? How would they be able to say yes to you at the end? Because understand one thing, those people who embrace your offer eventually, whether you ask them to rush to the back or go to the front or go anywhere in the room, whichever you like them to do, they've got to have some sense of trust you. And by the way, some of these people, when they really go to the back of the room, they may still have their moment of doubt. It's like, do I really believe in this guy? The offer looks good in terms of the price, in terms of the program, it's cool, it's sexy, yet I do not know whether this is the guy that I want to embrace. So all I want you to do to realize that at the end, when people actually go to the back, it's not 100% that they actually trust you. But what I want to say is that your level of trust at the beginning of the presentation should be 0. Unless you have already got warm audiences who know you, or maybe your students are in the room. So therefore, these people are your warm crowd. And that's besides the point. I'm talking about majority of the people in the room who don't know you. So to build the trust, all you need to do is just one simple step. Okay? You know what is the simple step? Is to show you how much you care for these people. How much you care. So in your presentation, you've got to address the issue. You got to actually give them the solution. Now, some of you find that, well, if I were to give them solution, what eventually would they actually pay for what I'm offering? The answer is no, because at the end, all you are saying is that you're addressing the problem, and these are the solutions. These are the solutions. I'm not asking you to give them the solutions by showing them the how, which is a lot of people's mistake. They actually went to show the how, so the audiences eventually say, thank you for sharing, I don't need your help because I know the how already. So I'm not saying that I withhold the information. All I'm saying is that I'll give them the concept, okay, the problems, which is the root of this discussion, and give them the solutions, give them a way to understand that, okay, there are possible solutions. And most importantly, you then want to link your solution as one of them, and then you put your faith in yourself that this solution eventually some of these audiences will pick, and therefore you would get somebody to say yes to you. So when I say trust is created, there are a few things you need to do. At the beginning, yes, of course, like I said, your trust level should be 0. All you need is to show your care, nurture them, help them address the problem, so the trust level will begin to go up. And then at the same time, don't forget one thing, there are people in the room who may, no matter what they will say no to you. So you do not want to like disappoint yourself, because you have people who say no to you. In fact, one technique that you can consider is to actually send these people away first. So if this is not what you're looking for, this training is not for you. So that at the end of the training, you make sure that those who are still staying in the room are the people that may still embrace your offer. It's not a no case. So this is what I call disqualifying the crowd. And then again, some people don't like this because they want to have a big room where people are sitting there. For me, I would rather work in a small room with higher chances that these people will say yes. Those that they are not going to say yes, I will want to send them out of the room as quickly as possible. Maybe in fact, at the beginning of the session, I want to send them out, because who knows, they might be in the wrong room. Who knows, they may not want to buy your product because what you're offering is not what they want to have the problem solved. So therefore, understand that building trust is a process. You start from the beginning, you continue nurturing them, show them that you truly care, and therefore at the end, when we're still in the room, you have actually earned the trust to some extent. Otherwise, they would have left the room. So this is a script that you may consider. The fact that you are still in the room means that to a certain extent, I've given you some useful information. I've earned the trust from you guys. Otherwise, we would have left already. So this is just to assist the situation, making sure that they know, okay, yeah, the fact is that I'm still waiting for your offer. To a certain level, I'm actually, I don't say that I will trust you completely, but somehow you haven't talked or you are not saying bullshit or rubbish, okay, so I'm going to listen to your offer. So therefore, the next thing, of course, you need to do is to make the offer irresistible. In my channel, I talk about irresistible offer a few times. So you want to check out these videos where I'm talking about what is an offer that is irresistible. Okay, so 3 things that you need to know when you make a presentation to help people say yes to your offer, to your continuing education, is that they must know you, they must like you, and most importantly, they have to trust you. Whether it's 100% or to a large extent, that is another thing, but they must trust you in the first place. Alright, so I hope that this will help you understand the whole architecture of building a presentation based on these 3 simple principles, which is what I did in Ho Chi Minh City. Because the whole day, the whole 3 hours, I was only talking about 2 groups of people. Number 1, the audiences. Number 2, my family members. Because I'm just having conversation with them. So when you are having conversation with your audiences, the heat, the pressure is not on you anymore. So you just do it in such a way that you become natural. People will then feel, people will then be able to connect with you, and that's all. You can make a difference in your presentation. Okay? So thank you for watching this video. I hope that you find something useful. Take 1 tip or 2, apply to your next preview or presentation, and see whether it works for you. And if it does, let me know by commenting below. I love to hear your success. All right. So if you do have any other questions on training, facilitation, and speaking, comment below your questions so that I may consider answering your questions in the form of future videos. All right. So thanks for watching, guys. Jack Wong here, signing off. All good wishes.